Lots of people in the world make plans, and some of those plans work really well. Some of those plans work very poorly. If you've lived very long on this earth, then you've probably had some plans that fall through. But you've also probably had some plans that have gone really well. I know I've had some plans that have gone really well and some that have fallen through. And what I'm going to do in this video is talk about what are the criteria for a really good plan, something that's not going to fall through. Obviously, there's things that are not in your control, but there's some things that you can control within making a plan. So this video isn't about how to make a plan. It's a video a little bit more about what is present in a really good plan, in a plan that's really more likely to succeed. So I'm going to use an acronym that has been presented to me by Dr. Robert Wubbolding. Dr. Robert Wubbolding was is currently teaching choice theory and reality therapy, started by William Glasser, and he's written extensively on the topic as well, mostly dealing with counseling situations, but also applying those principles to teaching and parenting and business leadership as well. So wouldn't say it's the most simple acronym that I've ever seen, but it's very helpful. And the first, it's a SAMIC is the abbreviation here. And we have SAMIC. Now, one of the things I don't like about this acronym is that's not all there is to it. There's an I, 2, and then there's a C3. So it's not one of those really fancy acronym that's super easy to remember, but it's very detailed. And if you can remember at least some of it, then it's probably going to help you a lot. But I didn't want to leave out anything that he had put in his materials, so I decided to include all of the acronym there. So SAMIC. Now, as you might have guessed, S stands for simple. If you're familiar with plan making strategies, S stands for simple. And another type of plan making acronym that I've seen, and I really like this one too as well, it's called a SMART goal. And S is the same thing in SMART goal as it is in SAMIC. So it means simple. For example, one of the goals that I've really wanted to set for myself this year, since right now as I'm recording this, we're not very many days past the first day of the year. So one of my resolutions was to engage in history more. I want to understand history more. The problem with that goal is it's kind of a bad goal. And as you'll see in our video today, it's not a very it's definitely not a SAMIC goal. So it's very hard for me it's going to be hard for me to meet that goal. I know it. So I came up with a plan that is actually a SAMIC plan, and that's going to increase my chances of actually achieving that goal, which is to engage in history more. So I think having those big goals is really important, but could you break it down into a plan? So make sure that your plan is simple. So one thing that I did was I bought a pocket calendar. So I'll just put a 31 there. That kind of looks like a calendar there. So my plan ended up being that I was going to buy this calendar, put in and read a daily history of kind of this day in history calendar. I saw it on the shelf at a bookstore and I just thought, you know what? That's my plan. I'm going to buy this calendar. I'm going to read one page every day. And then if I find something that's extra interesting, I'll make time to read more about that specific topic. So my plan was simple. Buy a calendar and read a little bit every day. So I guess I should add a plus sign, plus read every day. Okay, so that's my simple. Let me see if I can change color here. Now A, that's going to be attainable. So if your goal is not attainable, if it's something that you can't do, you're probably not going to follow through on that. Based on what I've said about my plan so far, I'm guessing it's going to take me about 45 seconds to complete this plan every day. So I think that's pretty attainable. So far it's simple, it's attainable. Now let's see what other colors I have here. Let's try green here. So M, and I'm going to go back and edit my first one here. Put an S there. That one's measurable. You might remember my first goal was that I was going to engage in history more. Well, how would I measure that? In other words, how would I know that I actually completed that goal? It'd be hard to say. How do I know if I engaged in history more this year than I did last year? If I didn't engage in any last year, then even reading just one page of history might be considered an achievement of that goal. But if I'm a history major, that makes it a lot different. So making sure that your plan is measurable. How will you know when your plan has succeeded or failed? So it's definitely measurable. If I don't see that I've torn off the piece of paper, then I'm pretty sure that I haven't read it. So I was away for the weekend, spending time with family. We were gone for 3 days. So I came back and I had 3 pieces of paper still on my calendar. So one by one, I tore them off and I read them. The first I is immediate. Let's see if I can go back to, let's see, I'll try blue again. Give a little bit of space between those colors. Immediate. So when am I going to do this? I'm going to do it right now. I'm not going to set this plan on for, oh, I'm going to do that later. I'm going to do this now, or I'm going to do this within the next day. If it's too big of a task for me to take on right now, then maybe I need to revisit the attainable part of my acronym and decide if that's really the right goal for me right now. If I don't have the time to attain it, then so those two kind of go hand in hand, attainable and immediate. If it's not immediate, maybe it's not attainable. That's something to think about. All right, we'll go back to red here. So the second I is going to be involved. Now, when you're making this plan on your own, I think it's a little bit harder to describe this one. That means involved means whoever helped you come up with the plan is actually there to help you. So if you're a parent and you're helping your student with the plan, try to be involved in how they achieve this plan. You can be involved in the plan making process. You can be involved in taking them somewhere they want to go, or buying them something they need, or giving them the free time they need to achieve it. Any of those things would be helpful. Now we have the 3 C's. Controlled by the doer. So who's controlling this plan? If it's your son's plan, but you're the one doing all the work, then it doesn't fit the parameters of the SAMIC plan. It's got to be controlled by the person who the goal is for. And if you're taking on too much of the control and you're helping them set that goal, then it's really just your plan. It's not their plan. So the next C is consistent or repetitive. Consistent. If it's something that they can't follow through on, or you can't follow through on, it's probably not going to work. Maybe that one's a little bit more common sense, but it's something that maybe people forget as they're evaluating a plan that they have. Maybe it's something that you forget to evaluate. How consistent can I be with this? It's not too hard for me to just read a day of history every day on my calendar. It's right there on my desk, and I'm at my desk every day. Now, if I put this calendar, let's see, in a place like my garage, well, I work out of my home a lot, so I don't go in my garage very often. So I don't know if that would be a very good place to put it because it'd be hard to be consistent with that. So consistency is very important. And then the last part is committed to. Can you commit, or can the person who is doing the plan, can they commit to this plan? Are they able to say that they will do it? In fact, there's one part of this, I'm going to expand into another little piece. So here we have, let's go back to that third C is committed to. Is it committed to? And Dr. Wubbolding says there are 3 stages of commitment of this planning phase. Number 1 is, could you? So if someone said, could you read a daily calendar? And I might say, you know what? I think I could. The next phase is, would you? And I might think about that a little bit more. Am I willing to do that? Would I put that time into it? Would I remember it? And eventually I might say, yes, I think I would. Then finally, will you? At first glance, these questions are not any different, but there is a slight difference. Sure, I could do anything that I want, but I don't want to. Would I do something? Yeah, maybe. Yeah, I might do something. Will you do something? So if you ask your child, could you take the garbage out for me? Technically, they could say, sure, not going to. Then you say, would you take the garbage out for me? And they might say, yes, I would if I weren't busy. And that third one is a little bit more commitment. Will you take the garbage out for me? Yes, I'll do it in 10 minutes. When you get that level of commitment, whether it's in your own plan or whether it's in a plan that you're trying to do with your child, when you get that extra level of will you commitment, Dr. Wubbolding says you're a lot more likely to get the results or the plan to follow through the way you expect it to. So again, these are not steps to take to create a plan. You could use them as steps if you like, but if you look at plans that have succeeded in the past and you look at plans that have failed in the past, I would venture to say, I would bet, I'd be willing to wager some money, I think, that those plans are going to have a great deal of this SAMIC plan involved. It's going to be controlled by you. It's going to be consistent. You're going to have committed to it. It's going to be a simple plan, attainable, measurable, immediate, and involved. It's going to have almost all of those components. So don't think of it as this is how I need to make all my plans. It's as you're making plans, use this as a reference and evaluate your plans. Does it fall in line with these? And if it doesn't, am I willing to change something about it? So I hope you found this video helpful, and let me know if there's any other information I can do to help you and your student.